Hi, this is Jackson, and welcome to my guide on the current events of Ukraine, the land of colorful, hand-drawn Easter eggs, and the result of being in the crossfire between Europe and Russia for hundreds of years. But before any of that, here is a quick word from our sponsors. Just kidding, my grade cannot afford to waste any more of your time. First off in news is the economy, which according to Stratfor.com is being harmed by the war with Russia. Quote, much of Ukraine's industrial production had been taken offline as the separatist rebellion escalated into a full-fledged war. Its GDP saw a double-digit contraction. End quote. This is not good for the country as it is already fighting a war with Russia over the Crimean Peninsula. Next, 3 years of war have taken their toll on the Ukrainian people. According to independent.co.uk, quote, almost 3 years of armed conflict have had a profound psychological toll upon the civilian population of eastern Ukraine. Yet stigma surrounding mental health issues, coupled with the collapse of medical infrastructure, are thwarting treatment and recovery. End quote. This is a bad change for Ukraine, and it is sadly a byproduct of war. However, on a more positive note, according to UkraineInform.net, Ukraine and Belarus are enhancing economic cooperation by, quote, the parties agreed to interact in the sphere of energy security, maintaining and increase the share of Belarus' presence in the oil market of Ukraine, end quote. This is a positive change for the country because it now allows for more economic cooperation between the two countries. In science news, according to UkraineInform.net, quote, Ukraine is among the leading states in space technology, end quote. This is a positive change for Ukraine because having technology in space will give you an edge in today's world where tech is super competitive and the best is sought after heavily. In literature news, Ukraine has passed a law stating that, according to the BBC, quote, a new law in Ukraine requires at least 75% of national TV broadcasts to be in the Ukrainian language. End quote. This seems to be a mixed bag for the country. There is now a tighter regulation on what can and can't be shown, which isn't good, but it also tries to make a more unified Ukrainian identity, something that the country desperately needs in war. And finally, in the arts, Ukraine has an Easter tradition of baking pisanka eggs. According to Washington Post, quote, the creation of pisanka eggs begins with an uncooked white egg. The design is applied with a kistka, a small funnel-like instrument that sits atop a stick and is filled with beeswax. The wax is ink-like, flowing through a tiny opening in the size of a pinhead. Once the wax design is done, the egg is carefully dipped in dye and patted dry. The new design is applied. This action is repeated until the desired design is achieved. End quote. The tradition of making pisanka eggs is good for Ukraine because traditions help to create national identity for the country.